Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Navigating the Legal Maze, Priya Mamgain on Corporate Law and Compliance. She is a dynamic legal and compliance professional with over 12 years of experience across corporates, law firms, and government advisory roles. Presently, she is in-house counsel at Coforge. From steering compliance strategies at HCL and Airtel to shaping contract negotiations at Coforge, Priya has built her career on mastering the intersection of corporate governance, intellectual property, and regulatory advisory. With a learn, earn, and return philosophy and a track record that blends technical excellence with a people first approach, her story is one of resilience, adaptability, and a relentless drive to make an impact in every role she takes on. And we will understand this philosophy. It's very interesting. Learn, earn, and return, and who Priya is as a person. So let's discover. So, welcome, Priya, to this coffee conversation. Uh,
Thank you, Ame, for having me over. And it's an absolute privilege to be with you today and having this coffee conversation.
so, let me explain you the flow and the format. There will be three rounds: professional, personal, and a rapid fire round where you will be in the hot seat, like you're on Coffee with Karan, and here's inspiration. Legal AI 101, which will be autographed and sent to you. But you have to win
Wow.
it. You have to be witty, fun, and quick. So let's begin.
I'm
So
all
friends, I'm
in it
Nalin
to win it.
Amirkar. Sorry.
I'm all in it to win it.
Sure. Okay. The friend I'm Lion Amir Virani was at Coffee Corner, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, Priya, how was the journey shaped up and what were the key defining moments?
Yeah, so Ame, before I even start, because there is a legal person in me and it is going to be recorded and published, I would like to put out a disclaimer that I've
Sure.
been invited, as an individual professional here, and there should not be any endorsement and association that should be seen with the people and the organization I work with. My views are extremely personal and should be delinked with any organization and person, associated with me. So, yeah, so addressing your question now, it has been an absolute interesting journey of, I think, 12 plus years now because I started working quite early, just after I completed my graduation from Venki in 2011. And I studied BCom honors there. And like any other campus recruitment, we all were excited to sit for interviews. And we did sit for like, I think, 10 odd interviews. And there were like big names, big consultancy firms, big IT companies, and MNCs. But we were not getting through any of those companies, and reasons were not known to us. But luckily, one day I got interviewed for India Bulls for the compliance role, and I got selected. And I spent about, I think, a year in the compliance department there. And there I picked up skills of compliance review, reviewing property documents, and doing the techno financial analysis of credit documents over there. So I was fresh out of college, it was new for me. And all this while, I had also enrolled myself for the course of CS, company secretaryship, right? And I was writing exams for that as well. The first defining career moment, I would say, was when I joined one of the IT, like the first of the IT companies, where I ended up spending more than 2.5 years, and where I got my first, I would say, the mentor. I think for any individual, for any professional, that is the most defining thing and most important thing, finding a mentor. And finding her in a very early stage of my career was a blessing. And a lot of, the work that I do and the approach, like how I approach my work, is greatly influenced by her working style. And she is the one, because when I joined her, I was fresh out of college. I was doing my CS. I had already completed my BCom honors. So she only recommended that you have this legal bent in your mind, and you go for the due law entrance exam. Okay. So that's how I ended up writing that entrance exam. I think, I'm not too sure if I got into it in the very first attempt. But yeah, in the second attempt, I cracked it, and I got into the law school. So I completed my law in 2018 from the Law Center 2. Okay. And why I keep mentioning her, because her guidance did not stop there. She also pushed me to take up the IPR laws diploma from Indian Law Institute, right? And because I was handling IPR portfolio there as part of my job profile, so she pushed me that you also get this certification also, and it's a great add-on to your whatever qualification you're already holding. So luckily, in that also I lucked out, and I ended up getting a gold medal in IPR laws from Indian Law Institute. It's a very prestigious institute, and it also offers now LLM and other, other certification courses in compliance management and cyber laws, and IPR laws was one of those laws. So all this I could do while I was working with her, right? So it's very heartening. It's very emotional also, at some point of time, to have somebody outside your family, you know who thinks about your career aspiration, how you can improve yourself as an individual, as a professional, right? So it's truly a blessing to have her. And I when I see her, at such a great level also, she's working. I've seen her journey, how she has negotiated contracts, how she has handled compliances for one of the biggest brand, in the IT sector, telecom sector, another sector. Excuse me. And very grounded leader, very secure leader, which is very very rare thing to find in corporate world. And you have been in-house counsel yourself, so you would relate to me in that regard, right? So yeah, so I mean, with so much humility and with no pretense, she delivers. And I think those two skills I have picked up from her, right? And when I reflect back, my journey is, somewhat similar to her. And yes, I'm just trying to improvise on that, and learn as much as possible. And one thing which I have, if I have to summarize this defining career moment, one of the defining career moment is, what she has learned from her is, you don't have to be, loud, when I say, in your conduct, in your behavior, in your interactions, to be seen, right? You just be like a glowworm. If you have that light, that spark in you, your work speaks for itself, right? People will come to you for your advices. In a meeting room, you will be asked for your viewpoint, because they know that some meaningful, some solution would come out of this professional. So that is one thing I take away from that defining moment, that having a mentor is an absolute necessity, and it's a blessing that you have, if you have it in early in your career life. So, and if I reflect back like 10 years, I have spent like building on monetizing the learning I have, you know, imbibed from her experiences and her leadership. uh, I got to work on some interesting opportunities. Got to negotiate, good, big deal, big size license agreements, right? Where I expose myself to new learnings. I got the opportunity to visit South Africa for one of the compliance assignment while I was working with HCL. And it was a really great experience, because you're not just learning, you're not just being there on a business tour, or delivering there or get that much needed business certification for your business people, but you're also understanding, you're exposed to new places, new perspective, new people, new culture, how different countries, how they work, what value they are bringing to the table, what is their working style which differs from Indian style of working, right, where we can improve as professional. So that exposure was much needed, and it was a really good business tour that I had. And then I think within 1 year I had to travel to Netherlands for another labor certification, and this too happened when I was working with HCL. So HCL was a truly, can say a milestone career move for me. And it has sort of transformed me as a professional, where, I learned to take few calls independently, run a project on my own, and deliver also at the same time. So it is very heartening to see that, business people are rooting for your name, and they want, Priya should be there at the time of the audit, because we need those certification, and they are sure that if she is there, she will supervise, and things will be done. So that was really important and exciting and defining moment, I would say. So moving on, the next defining moment in my career would be where I got to lead a team, and where my learning of last 10 years converged, and I was working as a consultant, where we were advising startups with funding and their compliances and everything. The next and the recent defining career moment that I'm currently living is when I decided to transition from a team lead role to a solo star, individual contributor role. And why I did it, because hustle quotient was going down, and I thought, let's disrupt the learning, whatever I have learned so far, and just scale up, just try to throw myself to new challenges. And here I am at Coforge now. So yeah, that's
Okay.
how I want to sum up. Yeah.
So let's go dive deep in conversation. You're giving me a lot of pointers
Yeah.
in your journey and key defining moments. So one by one, we'll pick it up. So as
Sure.
someone with both legal and company secretary expertise, how do you integrate these two roles for better governance?
Yeah. So, like I said, in the first 10 years of my career, you can say the role was more inclined towards compliances, right? Where I was contributing more as a compliance professional. When we say compliance, we are handling corporate compliances, labor compliances, right? Environmental compliances. So, we are not the do function, we are just the advisor, right? And what we do is to interpret the law, right, and to assess the applicability of the law. So all these degrees and all those qualification that have helped me to dissect the law and to interpret the law in terms of business context of whatever industry my organization is working. So once the applicability is clear, we as compliance professional, we draw up the compliance controls which different teams need to adhere to, right? Once you have those compliances, the compliance framework ready for the teams, you identify the RACI metrics, who will be the do function, and how the responsibilities are going to be divided between the teams, right? And the most critical part of a compliance governance framework is reporting the compliances, right? So for for a company, be it a private or a public company, every quarter there is a board meeting, right? And you have to report compliances, non-compliances to the board, right? So as compliance function, we prepare those reports, we tell the board that these are the high risk compliances, non-compliances, and this is what teams are doing to mitigate the risk, if not eliminate the risk. Okay, that is sort of give them a snapshot of the entire compliance health of the organization. And the kind of education background I have, it helped me to reason with the non-legal person also why this is applicable, how we can implement it, and if we are not doing this compliance, how you're exposing the organization to fines and penalties. Yeah.
Wow. So, next question will be, what are the most pressing compliance challenges companies face today, having led compliance at corporate like Airtel, HCL, and others, according to you?
Well, I would say, if you have a great dedicated compliance team and a highly efficient compliance tool to track those compliances, it is not a very, difficult thing to achieve or monitor. What I have felt and seen is we don't see as an organization, especially leaders, they don't see it as a very critical thing. Okay, they might see it as a very casual thing because penalties don't knock you on the first day, knock at your door on the first day, right? They might come up maybe 3 or 4 or 10 years after your incorporation or after you have started doing business, right? So long everything is going fine, you are booking profits and everything is just smooth, you will not bother about compliance. But I think now there is awareness amongst leadership also that they consider compliance as a very important function. And my viewpoint here is there has to be a dedicated compliance team, right? It should not be clubbed with legal or secretarial function or HR function. I mean, they can have their subsets like small units, which we all can you know um, can be clubbed together into a panel, compliance panel, and the dedicated compliance officer or compliance team run the entire program, right? That would avoid the conflict of interest also, like one department is trying to hide any issue that is cropping up in their team. But why we need a compliance person in each department is because they are close to the problem, they are close to the implementation, right? So that's why we need individual person at each team level, but there has to be a common group which drives this entire program. And there is a lack of will to spend also on high-end tools, right? And I mean, I would like to throw this question to the industry also that they should come up with good advanced tools and with for different company groups. Maybe in the low segment you have this a low price product, or for higher company which has got more headcount, more operations in the states, right? You can give them a premium product which can track more compliances and give them legal updates in that way. So there has to be a graded compliance tool sort of a proposal for different companies so that they can optimize their cost but not at the cost of compliance.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Priya, you have worked across tech, telecom, IT. So, how do you recalibrate your legal approach for each industry?
Well, I have always said that as a legal and a compliance professional, I always see a problem statement or a legal problem with a three-tiered lens, which is what is the risk? You have to do your risk assessment, right? So if there is a law which applies, to my organization, I will understand what are the risks if I don't comply with it, right? Is it monetary risk? Is it legal risk? Is it reputational risk? Is it other commercial financial risk? What is it? So once you're clear what kind of risk is there, you will do the impact assessment, like whether it can send my directors to behind the bars, or it can attract a lot of monetary penalties. What is it? You have to quantify the risk also, right? Once you have identified the risk, quantified the risk, then you work with your concerned stakeholder, right? If the risk is related to environmental compliance, you will work with your admin, your HR team, right? If it is related to a cyber security risk, you will work with your IT or privacy team, right? If it is a contractual risk, right, you will try to work it out with your finance and your business people, right? So there could be, depending upon the type of risk, you have to engage with the right stakeholder to work on the mitigation plan. Now, here we stand today. This is the non compliance, right? And this is how we can mitigate it. This is a 3 year, 2 week, 1 month plan, right? Where we have to close this, implementation of the mitigation plan so that a clean report, a clean compliance framework can be delivered, right? So, I mean, that is two-tiered process that we have crossed, and the third is the cost of compliance. So, do I need one more person to do the function, to do the reporting? Is it a resource level implementation or help I need, or is it a tool level intervention that I need? The things people are doing their compliances, but they are not able to report it on the time. So, what is that problem we need to identify for the organization? Sometimes people are doing their compliances, but a red report is going to the board. This is a false reporting. Okay, so wherever you can bring in technology to avoid those slippages, you must do it on time. So that's a three-tiered approach that I follow at work.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
So my next question, you have been part of both government advisory and corporate setups. How do the dynamics of legal problem solving differ between the two?
Well, you can't really, it's like you are comparing apples to oranges, I would say. And I think for a government organization, a lot is at stake than a private organization, because private organization, they're driven by profit motives, right? Their sales number, their clients number, right? Their top line and everything that goes into it. For a government organization, the distinguishing feature is their meeting and minutes of the meeting is sacrosanct. They like to meet people in person, like to discuss proposal in person, like to solve problems in person, and chai pe charcha is a real emotion there. And it helps, and I'm also a very strong advocate of this thing, that you should meet people, all your stakeholders in person. It sort of helps you to resolve the conflict faster, right? And I've seen decisions being taken in those meetings while I was part of those interministerial meetings, while I was at Department of Heavy Industry, and we were discussing the earth moving construction and equipment related bill. That time, they were discussing that, and the minutes of the meeting. Now you have to be very particular about what was discussed, which minister said what, and the buy-ins that were taken in those meetings. And there is a very structured process there, which is the noting thing that they follow at government organizations. So if I have to give my view, I will present my view and I'll put my sign off in that single note. Then one level up person would give his or her view and they will sign off. So what I have seen, that this is very in contrast with what we see here, because in private businesses we are so much in hurry to close the deals that you will say, okay, verbally, I have discussed and I'm giving you my okay, you just please proceed, right? And once deal is done, everything is signed. When you talk about post contract closure obligation, then somewhere a delivery person, a finance person will say, oh, this is something I didn't sign off on, right? So government is very particular about those approvals. Everything is documented. There is bureaucracy, right? But your notes and your approvals are very, very much important there. So that is the contrasting feature which I saw in both the organization. Yeah.
Wow.
Over to you.
So let's go memory down the lane.
Yeah.
What has been the most challenging contract negotiation you have led, and what did you learn from it?
Uh, well, every day is a challenge in an in-house counsel's life. Your days like that, mad. One early in the morning, maybe one point of time in a day, you are discussing a small NDA, which is not a very big commercial document, but people can actually stretch the conversation so much, right, in just an NDA, that they would say, okay, it's a client conversation, it's a preliminary business discussion, you just sign it as it is, right? But if they are putting indemnity penalties, right, heavy data related compliances there, where your organization is not even dealing with personal data or other things under that document. It is just you and I are meeting to discuss a proposal, right? It has to be as simple as that, right? So one clause, I don't know why I got into that discussion also with the other attorney. There was a clause which in NDA it puts an obligation on the receiving party to prove that your information, whatever you're receiving, is confidential. Okay, usually there is a principle, unsaid principle of presumption of confidentiality. So if there is an information which I'm sharing with you as a disclosing party, I am responsible, the onus is on me to prove that the information is confidential. It is not on you as a receiving party, right? And it is not very important to sign these NDAs. It is just for enforceability and prove it and present it as an evidence. We are signing it on paper. The presumption, default presumption, is I have to hold it as confidential. You sign it or you don't sign it, right? So we were just fighting over this normal clause that the onus is on the disclosing party, not on the receiving party, right? So I mean, these are the funny conversation which can happen at a very small document level as well. And then talking about large big deals, so in the IT space, a lot of large deals and big deals are happening. A lot of innovative deal structures are coming our way. When we say GCCs are coming up, right? And then you have AI related clauses that you have to negotiate, especially when you don't have a legislation in place right now. And it is a very evolving subject, right? So you don't know. Sometimes, at framework agreement level, even delivery people in your organization would not know that what they will end up delivering for the customer. So once, if the scope is not clear to a legal person, how will I identify the risk, and I'll put the safeguard clauses, right? So that's the real challenge sometimes we as in-house counsel face. And we have to sort of anticipate, if we end up exchanging a personal data or end up doing something that involves AI, right? Or would involve something which could trigger any compliance requirement, right? Maybe a staff leasing requirement if we are sending our people to different countries, right? Because in Europe, staff leasing is a very regulated concept. You have to have a license before you send your people, because then employment, joint employment claims can arise if you don't follow certain regulations. So these are the challenges, and I think the most difficult thing that is coming up is with GCCs and other large deals is the rebadging and rehiring, transition of people. And in the M&A transactions also, I see because of different culture of different countries, different regulations of different countries, different level of benefits and compensation those different countries are giving to these people, right? It's very difficult to synchronize those legal clauses, right? And somewhere you try to put something in one of the exhibits and schedules, and your contracts get signed, and later on, when it comes the day of implementation, then the real drafting then becomes comes the day of the test of the real drafting. Have you anticipated all the risk? Have you guarded your company in all way possible in those contracts? So I think these are the challenges which we are facing right now. And yeah, that's about it.
Wow. So, Priya, how has being a gold medalist in IPR from Indian Law Institute shaped your approach to intellectual property advisory in corporate environment?
Well, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't say I did it for titles or to brag that I hold so many degrees, BCom honors, CS, IPR, law. But what I feel as an individual, as a professional, is it sort of prepares your mind to build a logic and your ability to reason. Okay, especially when you're negotiating in a transaction. If you go to the other side and you say, this is my red line, this is how I want it, without any reason and logic, the other side won't buy it, and rightly so, unless until you tell them why you want it, right? There has to be a rationale behind it, and it has to be rational in terms of the business context, the deal in hand, right? So I'll give you one example. I was negotiating one agreement. It's a partner level engagement, where you are engaging with a different partner in the same space. It's a synergy of the capabilities, the IT and the marketing and other things. So it's a very, you have a chain documents, not just one document under which you are sealing your relationship. So they will have multiple programs where you will partner with them, and there is a mother document which sits over the entire transaction, right? In the mother document, they have put in everything, all the liabilities, all the indemnities, all the, everything is open ended, everything is on you. Okay, you have to comply. If you don't do it, these are the damages, right? So it is commercially not viable to sign off on such a contract, while at the same time I'm just starting off my business relationship with you, and it's a very negligible amount of deal that I'm doing with you, right? Now what is the challenge? Business wants you to sign it because it's a very small transaction. But when you look at the draft legally, you're not getting comfort because it is a draft of a very large deal. Only a large deal could demand those clauses. So then you have to engage with the legal counsel of the other side, and you have to make them understand that, see, this is the scope of the engagement that we are doing right now. Let's limit the exposure to the benefits and to the value we have in hand, right? It should commensurate with the value I'm getting. Risk allocation has to be, proportionate, right? So when you reason with the other side, they will understand. And luckily in this deal also, we were successful in, dealing certain things in a different way, restricted to that document. And parallelly, the mother document can be negotiated in days to come. So that's how you save time for your business also, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See now, Priya, AI is everywhere. How is AI impacting corporate advisory and compliance work for the in-house corporate legal teams?
Well, I would say, and I keep on hearing from my peers also, from my seniors also, that I mean, AI is something you can't live without. And as a lawyer, as a professional, if you're not coping up with AI, if you're not mending your ways and changing your ways of working to be adapted to AI, then you will become obsolete, which we all cannot afford, right? So you have to integrate AI, but how we are doing it here, I think all the routine tasks can be given under the care of AI, like the research work that we hire interns for, right? All those things can be done with the help of AI, and the routine monitoring, tracking of internal assignments, right? Post contract closure obligations, those logics can be put in AI, and all those things can be done away with the help of AI. But where you need decision making, where you need structuring of the big deals, where you need decision like this, which I did for my company, that okay, you restrict the exposure at transaction level, not at the journal partnership level, right? Those inputs will never come from an AI, right? You need human intervention there, you need human brain there. AI is important for the routine task only. Wherever there is human decision making, strategizing, structuring is involved, you would need a human, like proper legal professional, to help you with that. Yes, so I would summarize. You can like AI can supplement the legal work. It can never supplant the legal work that we are doing here.
Wow. So my last question, what advice would you give to young legal professionals aspiring to build a career in compliance and corporate law?
Well, it's a very interesting and exciting space to be in. It's highly rewarding in terms of learning, in terms of money, in terms of exposure, perks, benefits, everything, right? So, those who are pursuing it, they are doing the right thing, and they should continue pursuing it. I mean, there could be overwhelming deadlines. There could be days or weekends where you don't meet your family, or you have to compromise on your sleep, which you never do, because I never endorse a very hectic work schedule. But when work demands you to deliver, you got to deliver as a professional, right? So be very firm in your work ethics, have very strong boundaries, learn to say no wherever you have to, Try to learn the skill of co-leadership, because we all are budding leaders. I don't see anybody as junior, senior. We all have some value to give to the other person, right? So try to you know coexist with the co-leader, and try to understand their viewpoint, because that's how the great teams they work, right? It is never about one single individual, it's always a teamwork. So try to learn those skills, and always try to learn new things. There are new certifications, like AI is coming up, GDPR has always been there, right? Now AGIP is coming, like artificial intelligence and data privacy club together. And there are anti money laundering compliance, and across the world they are reviving it, they are making it more stringent. There is ESG compliances, in green funding, it is becoming a huge thing. So we have a very limited skill set, I think, in this space. So try to, identify the white spaces. Okay, you are a plain vanilla legal professional. What certification I can add to my profile, my learning, which can make me more valuable to any organization? That's how you will create your value in the industry. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
So let's go to next round and understand Priya as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So like we were just discussing offline also, I belong to Uttarakhand, Tikri Garhwal, and you would see those traits of a typical Pahadi in me, like I'm very you see the person as full of integrity. They are normal, like simple people. They will not mince words while speaking what I feel. I'm very very straightforward. I will say it on your face. Obviously I will try not to be rude, but if you need to be told something, I will tell you that for your own benefit, right? And these things I've learned at my home from my grandmother, who is a very strong, courageous, and very transparent, very forward looking lady. She is going to be 100, but there is so much to learn from her, right? My sisters, they are like, you can say, the guiding light. They have always taught me the right things, and whenever I'm in a dilemma, wherever I need their support professionally, personally, they have guided me, right? My friends, so I'm really grateful to have my colleagues. There's a very talented mix of people I'm working with. I've been always blessed, being working with a lot of great, talented minds. And you can say, like, if I have to sum up, you can say, I'm truly blessed to have a family who is more like friend to me, and a set of friends who are more like family to me, always guiding me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, Priya, why did you go to Faculty of Law, Delhi University, and how was the experience over there?
Yeah, so like I explained in the beginning of our conversation, also, my mentor guided me that you should, take up law. And while I was working, the only option I had to pick up this evening classes course. So I was working in the morning, and I was studying law in the evening. And the silver lining to having studied in an evening college is you get a lot of experienced old people in that batch. And we had like a lot of people, like a lot of retired railway professionals, IPS, IAS, right? Those who have worked, those who have seen the challenges at work, right? So it was a great mix of people, and it has sort of shaped up how I look at things now and how I am as a professional, because it's not just the legal knowledge that I've got at law school. It is, as a professional, how to make the decisions, how to use the resources, how to manage a project, right? Those life skills I have picked up from my interaction with those experienced people. Yeah.
Yes. True. There have been other coffee speakers who have gone in evening classes and same things they have shared. The experienced people are coming here and the knowledge, the group people, and they are still connected with them. So
Yeah,
balancing work, learning, and being with experienced people, that's very wonderful and encouraging. So all those
it is.
viewers out there where you have a good mentor and someone is guiding you to upskill,
Yes.
take up, go for, enroll for courses. Evening courses are there, but effort is required from your end. So let's go
Yes.
to the next one.
Yeah.
What's a hobby or interest which helps you to unwind and recharge?
Well, see, frankly speaking, for past 2.5 years, or I would say even longer than that, I've been just reading, my contracts and related regulations. But yes, I do take some time out to read something else also. I listen to podcasts also, and some of it depends on my mood. Some part of me is reading Dostoevsky, the kind of drama and dilemma novella or novels he writes over the weekend. Or I have also recently picked up this very old but famous book. So I'm just trying to understand the concept of what is this ethical egoism. And the book is called Fountainhead.
Mhm.
So I was just going through, like, I was dumb scrolling, and a lot of celebrities also have read about it. So I just thought, okay, let's try my hand on this one. And the concept is very exciting, the ethical egoism. So looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yes. So what's a childhood memory that still makes you smile instantly?
Childhood memory. Well, I think most of my childhood memory would be with my grandmother, because my parents, they used to go out, to work. And yeah, maybe my grandmother buying an ice cream or taking me to the park, or doing things for me. And at a very older age also, she was making things for us and making us comfortable. It's only now that she can't, she's not able to, but wherever she could, she just tried to make things available to us, be it in terms of some eatable or anything. So my fond memories, I would say, whatever time I spend with my grandmother is still today is my fondest memory. And yes, there is a
So
new addition. There is a new addition. My niece, which is now 1.5 years old. So I think in her childhood, because I'm the youngest in my family, I have not seen any other young child in front of me, and she is the one I'm very closely watching, and she is an absolute delight to be with. Yes.
wow. So if your friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
3 words. I think my social media account and everywhere I want to describe, I say, she who dares wins. That's how I want to sum up my journey.
Okay. So what are your plans for 2025, personally and professionally?
2025, it's almost over. Uh, Professionally, it's almost over. So, yeah, there are few things that I'm planning to study and few certifications I'm planning to add to my profile. And I'm on that path. Maybe before 2025 ends, I'll be able to complete that. And personally, I would like to explore a few more places. Finland is next on my list. But let's see. I want to see the northern lights. So let's see when I get lucky with that. Yeah.
So let's put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round.
Oh,
Contracts or compliance?
contracts.
Your favorite color?
Yellow.
One word that describes your leadership
One word that describes my leadership
style.
is, how would I describe it? Mm, Deal people. I would say people centric. I like to work with people.
Your go to comfort food.
Comfort with dal chawal any day.
So अपना let's go visit Uttarakhand. So what is that dish which is very close to your heart?
Oh, well, in Uttarakhand, there's a sweet. I don't have a sweet tooth, but I have a sweet tooth for certain things like jalebi and other things. But for it, Uttarakhand, since you are asking, it's arse. It is made up of jaggery and rice. Arse.
Best piece of advice received.
Professionally, personally,
Anything.
well, like, go slow.
Wow. Okay. Tea or coffee to recharge?
Coffee. I am sipping coffee in front of you. We can't endorse anything else but coffee today.
Thank you for that. And you did well. And here's a book which will be autographed and sent to you.
Wow.
So, friends,
Perfect.
coming from a small town of Uttarakhand, and with the help of mentor, she has made it big in the corporate legal world. From navigating the complexities of corporate governance to embracing bold career moves across industries, Priya's story is a reminder that being a modern legal professional is about more than just mastering the law. It's about staying adaptable, leading with integrity, and continuously learning. So, to all aspiring lawyers and in house counsels listening today, this conversation will inspire you to embrace challenges, build meaningful relationships, create a career that's not just successful but significant. And to audience out there, stay tuned for more stories that illuminate the path of the emerging lawyer. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep navigating your own legal maze with confidence. And subscribe to the Coffee Gun Show, where there are 500 plus speakers out there sharing their professional personal journey. And if you want to be featured like Priya, visit our website, the Emerging India Forum, or our LinkedIn page, or connect with one of the coffee speakers. They would put in a word and invite you to have conversation over a cup of coffee. So August is a month of festivals. So we have got apna ye Raksha Bandhan, then Independence Day, then apna Parsi New Year, then Janmashtami. So to watch this the Coffee Corner show, there will be special celebrations happening. So stay tuned, and we wish all our viewers out there this festivals and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir.